So it's nothing but, advance, you are going to booking this one. Okay. So your service is available. So maybe that particular period of time, okay, so the service may be not available due to the huge demand, and the configuration, whatever you are going to choose, let's say 1 terabyte of disk and 500 GB RAM and 50 vCores kind of thing. That huge configuration flavor may not be available that particular period of time. So that, okay, if you are going to reserve that instances, okay, or 3 year 1 year reserve kind of thing, it will give 40% of reduces over here. Okay, so that is a one thing, reservation of the instance. And also it is 40 to 60% of discount you will get. And that, but on the month of whatever you are required date and time, the service available for you. Okay, so you can able to deploy it. So that is a one thing highlight here.
So, sir,
Okay.
what is the difference between savings plan and reserved instance? Because in saving plans, it's showing 13% discount, and
Mhm.
reserved is showing 40%.
Okay. So saving plan here is, if you are go here, okay, so let's say we are going to opt a 1 year saving, so 1 year saving plan. Okay. So it will give for, pay as you go method. Okay. So flat discount. Okay. When you go for the reserve at forecast, it is going to happening. So that service you are not going to deploy at this moment, maybe tomorrow or, 1 month or 5 months or 6 months. Okay, the forecast amount you are going to pay, that's what they are going to give the huge discount here. Okay, so you just reserved and you are paying advance, that one. Okay, this is just like, saving plan of flat discount. As and when we are going to deploy, so the service is available. If you want to choose 1 year, saving plan, it will give 30%, 13% of the discount. If you go for the 3 year, 32 years of the discount. On fly, it is going to give. Okay, reserved instance in the sense the service itself we are going to reserve. Okay, so you are not at this moment utilizing. As and when we are going to, when requirement is coming, that time we are going to deploy, utilize the services, whether the compute or the storage, the network, whatever. Okay.
Okay, sir. And one more thing, sir, do we use this option? Means because mostly companies are having SQL Server licenses. So, do we use this thing in production that without SQL Server
See,
license?
always, customer seeking, okay, to reduce the cost. Okay. This is the one of the method in a real time to reduce the cost. Okay. See, if you just blindly we are going to deploy into the cloud, later on client is released, that time is going to escalate. Okay. So ensuring that all this precaution, you would have to ask the customer, hey, we are going to migrating your services into a cloud landscape. So do you have this kind of licensing agreement with you? See, most of the companies, most of the enterprise companies having the licensing with, direct Microsoft or third party Microsoft vendors. Okay, they'll definitely have the licensing agreement. Okay, so you have to ask them to reduce the cost. Part of the cost optimization, um, part of the cost optimization, you have make sure this all these things. Then when it is going to use without, existing licenses, basically some startup companies, some medium level organization. So they want to do some R&D and they want to, take new project here. So that is the case. So they're least bothered about the taking up the licensing and maintaining of the right. So they will go for that pay as you go method. So they don't want to maintain, they didn't want to go and separately purchase the OS license and the SQL license, right? So that is that scenario. They are going to go for the pay as you go method, or either 1 year reserved instance, or a forecast 4 years reserved instance. They will go for entire stack. Okay, like this. Did you get?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So simple thing. Okay. When you are going to deploy any VM, you would have to make sure that, okay, in the licensing part of the customized operation. Okay. So we'll see that one. You need to ask all the questions. So, sir, if you have the licensing agreement, this is the cost. So, is this going to work out for you to reduce the cost? Again, on top of it, if you want to save the plan, 1 year commitment, so you can reduce 13%. Otherwise, so you deploy two VMs today. Okay, after that, after 5 months or 3 months, you want to deploy the same kind of configuration. So, in the next 3 months, it is mandated the production migration. So you may ask them to, instead of going to deploy at that particular time, maybe service is not available, the particular server configuration, better to, make that reserved services. Okay, so that it is going to reduce the cost, as well as you are going to pay some sort of, less amount based upon the discount. So that things you would have to explain it clearly to the client. Okay.
Right.
So,
Sir,
yeah, yeah,
I
please,
have
please.
one question. How
Yeah.
will I decide that which configurations I have to choose? And if due to any reason I am shutting down the server within a
Mhm.
2 or 3 months instead of 1 years, means I have selected the reserved instance for 1 year, and now I'm shutting down it after 3 months. So how will it calculate the cost, and how will I decide the configuration?
Okay. Right. So I'm just, uh, pausing the recording. I want to show some important things you folks, basically. Okay. So, the best thing is actually to the configuration, how we are going to decide, right? So there is a multiple option to discover the thing. Okay. The traditional method, the older method. Okay. So normally I follow. Okay. So there is a one tool. Okay. Map toolkit. Okay. This map toolkit, what it is going to give, you are going to install this exe file in your environment, and it is going to discover your complete environment, and it will provide the your configuration and the load information as well. Okay, this is a one traditional method. You can discover, and it will show how many servers, what is the name, what is the version, what is the service pack, what is the CPU, what is the memory, how many users, how many services. That entire hardware report it is going to provide you. Okay, this is a report that is going to provide. We will do this one as well. Okay, upcoming class we will definitely go and explore on this one. This is a one option. Option one. Option two. Okay. Option two, we have Azure migrate option. Okay. When we are going to do migration from on-premises to cloud, okay, it will discover the complete, your on-premises and capture the load, and it will suggest, let's say on-premises you have uh, 20 core CPUs, and 120 GB RAM is there. Okay. And 500 GB storage is there. But actual usage for that particular server, let's assume it is using not even 4 core, and 30 GB, and even 100 GB. Okay, so this is a minimum configuration that is being used, but it is a behind the actual usage, right? So when you are using for Azure migrate tool, what it is going to give completely, it will give the source configuration, current usage, and the target configuration as well. It will give target configuration. So it is good. I'll show that option actually. Here, if you can go and duplicate this tab. So this all the things we have dedicated modules. We'll go and discuss in details things here. Okay. Just for sake of interest, I'm exploring here. Okay, so Azure Migrate. See, this is the Azure Migrate. Okay, this tool is going to give, tool is going to give complete, project we have to create, and it will give the source configuration, target recommendation also it will give. So the third option typically what I am going to give, I have some checklist here. Okay, some configuration checklist here. Let me show you. I'm just gonna pause this one. Why? Because now what I want to tell basically, so this configuration size and all everything, you just need to either the two ways by capturing up the load on the source and using of the map tool or DMA tool or Azure Migrate. It is going to give the recommendation what kind of tool that you are going to use on the source and target configuration related stuff. Okay, so it will comes to the based upon your experience and multiple projects doing on real time, right? So here is going to give the user account and the password. Okay, so password is I just give uh, normal password only which required. Okay, so and here this ports number. So if you want to do some RDP related stuff for the Windows mission, RDP 3380 port number is required. For the demo purpose, I am just not taking any port number. Let's see what is the output it is going to come in. So as I said just before, pricing calculator, which we can able to, if you have the enterprise license with you, the OS related, it will give and nearly to the 40%, 49% of the cost reduced, right? So other thing is the disk related stuff. Yesterday we discussed about the disk, okay, premium disk, SSD disk and the HSD disk, okay. So this is the solid state disk, okay, magnetic disk HSD hard disk. So which is going to recommending for the non-critical, for the testing related, backup related, you can use for the solid state disk for the non-prod production high critical one you can utilize for this one. Okay, even we do have option zone redundant storage data applicable. So as this I'm going to use for the testing purpose storage SSD disk. Okay, so ensuring that delete VM when we are going to delete this VM option is available. Enable the alter disk compatibility. It is a faster within the disk also you can able to enable. And this is a very important thing. Okay, you can able to create multiple disk here. Let's say when we are deploying this VM, it will come OS disk, one temporary disk, two disk it will come. So once after the deployment is done, okay, if you have already disk with you, you can able to attach. Okay, so let's say if the existing disk is available, you can attach that. If you don't have
Sorry
any
for
disk, yeah,
sorry for when we are checking the delete VM uncheck, what is happened? Uncheck
which one?
delete the VM option.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So this, if you are going to uncheck that one, okay. So when you are deploying the VM, okay, you have the network interface. You have the disks, okay. You have other storage attachment that it is not going to delete. Okay, that will still remain. Only the VM it is going to delete.
okay, okay. Nick, that also is there. Only VM
Yeah.
will delete, right? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, only VM will do. So if you are going to check this box, okay,
Hmm.
along with the VM, the disk, OS disk, network interface IPs, everything is going to delete.
Okay, understood. Thank
So just for practice purpose, I am just checking this one, but real time they are not going to check this one most of the case. Okay,
thank
so
you.
before going to delete, they're ensuring that all this option. Okay, just make at this moment for practice purpose. So I want to add one disk. So if you go and click on create attach disk, so what kind of disk you want? Let's say the SQL data disk. Okay, or else you can call it as data disk. Okay, and see here the source is snapshot or storage blob where you want to keep this one. If you want to keep this disk in a storage block, you can go and browse if you have the storage account with you. Okay, I have this storage account with me. Okay, so I can grab this one. Okay, so that is a one kind of approach you can use. But the normal scenario for the SQL will take a non-empty disk dedicated one. So here is the option 1 TB of disk you can able to use for the LRS here. 1 TB of disk here. So maximum, mostly it is going to accommodate 4 TB. Mostly it is going to accommodate 4 TB of disk. Okay. So for the practice purpose, I am not going to do any kind of thing here. Just I will go and adopt the 8 GB disk over here. Not Dutch matter. Okay. So here this customer managed key and I know perform normal service provider key. So normally we'll go for customer managed key or perform managed key of the service provider. So just click on OK. Okay, so here also we have an option C here. So shared disk and delete this disk with you. So this is you are creating a new created disk, right? Newly created disk. Or else you can create that separately also. You can create a separately also. Okay, so if you want to create disk creation, just go and click on this one. There is no disk, right? So if I create it is going to attach. If I want to create in normal scenario also, you can create only single disk and you can able to attach. So there is an option you see, right? You can create the disk or you can attach the disk. This is the creating of the disk. So what about the attaching of the disk for the same thing? You have attached the existing disk, right? Let me create in a one disk here. So resource group is same and disk is that I want to create, existing disk. Name is that is up to you. Existing data disk. Okay, data disk I'm going to do. So hyphen hyphen. Okay, or else disk one. I'll take it as one disk one. Okay, used to use. I don't want to make it a zone and all, no zone related stuff. Secure type also I'll make it as a none. Okay, so what is the size? Let's say this is like 8 GB RAM. Okay, now disk got created. Okay, now disk got created. We'll go for encryption option, networking where you want to access and all. I'm just keeping a default details here. Just click OK and create it. Okay. Now East US region, you have 8 GB storage disk is available. Okay. So you can use that one actually. You can use that one. So I'll go back basic now. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So let's complete this one. Disk once it is completed, mostly it is going to reflect to use that existing disk one. Okay. Now it is got declared, right? I'm able to see that disk. Okay. This is the one empty disk which is not assigned anything. See, resource group disk type is unattached. Which location? US location. What is this? What is the type? And what is I? All right. So now what I'm going to do, go to the VM and drop down here and nothing to deploy and go to this next option to disk option, right? So just before we try to create manual, right? Now I want to try to use the existing one. Use the existing one. Let's see if I have any existing disk here. See here, I could able to see the disk name, right? Disk one, size 8 GB, account and premium LR disk, shared one. I could able to see, right? So I'll go back and create a resource group name, demo for RG again, and press OK. And here is the infrastructure as service. This is I keep it as used and provide the username here and password. And here is a password. All right. So go to the next option. Okay, I just told you folks is basically virtual machine name. Okay, demo VM4. Okay, so let me keep this one as inbound block. There is no port here. Okay, let's take this HFB days for some sort of configuration here. So I haven't taken any disk, right? So let's take the existing disk now. So just drop down, okay, and save it. Now the existing disk you want to read write and you can make the read write happen. So this is the next one. So next is the networking part. Networking part I am not going to discuss at this moment. Day after tomorrow, mostly the networking part is there. The management option. Okay, so logging with the ADIDs also you can able to do. And the monitoring part. Okay, if you want to enable the monitoring, you can able to do the OS diagnosis and all. And next advanced tag and create. So this is all about creating of the VM, and it is validation is going on. Now, once it is done, you just click on create the VM. It is going to deploy. So I did some one mistake to enable the port number 3381 to part of connectivity, right? So let's see this once after the deployment whether I'm able to connecting or not. Just click on create. So this is going to create within the 1 minute mostly. Post that I am about to try to connect, but it is not able to connect. How we are going to troubleshoot? Let's see that one.
One question.
Yeah.
When we are selecting the availability zone, no infrastructure redundancy, what will happen?
So what it is going to happen basically, if the one zone it is going to down, the other zone itself, your data still remain, your resource is still available. Okay, there is some resiliency. Okay, the zone is going to down. Okay, but there is no impact on your server. Still, it is up and running.
If selecting no redundancy,
not available. It is a single point of failure. The VM it is going to down at any point of time. There is no 100% availability.
No, it will down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, it is deploying now. Okay, so let's see how much time it is going to take. Mostly lesser time it is going to take. Right. So now it's done. Okay, so the resources got deployed. Now let's see. Okay, normally we can able to connect with the audit, right? So here I could able to see this, all this information. Okay, tomorrow we are going to explore it all these options. Okay, possible option. But let's see this one. We have disks, right? So when you go for the disk, only one disk we attached. Okay, this is the disk 8 GB. If you want to add one more disk, you can add disk here. Okay, or you can able to create here, or else you can do this, click on create disk. Okay, so what is the size if you want to give? You can give this, 100 GB or whatever you can able to do. Just simply save it. Simply save it. The disk 2 you can able to give name and that's it file. So this is a premium disk. Okay, so let's make this premium disk only and save it. So during the deployment, I just taken that one disk, and after the deployment also I can take the disk. So when it is going to help in the real time, let's say your database server disk is full. Okay, it is cross the existing disk size. Okay, so what we are going to do? One thing is existing disk you can increase, existing disk you can able to increase, and you can able to add the disk, right? You can able to add the disk size. So here I can see this, VM. I can able to, instead of 8 GB, I can make it as 32 GB. If I want to existing disk, if you want to increase. So sometimes you will get space alerts, right? So what we will do? We'll increase the disk. But one thing you have to remember, just I'm going to say, initially the disk one is 8 GB, now it is going to 32 GB. Your disk space issue is going to resolve. Your disk space issue is going to resolve. Just wait some time. I'm going to refreshing. Now this 8 GB is going to increase 32 GB. Okay. But one thing is, remember, lower to higher you can able to do. But so this size small to smaller size to big size you can able to do, you can able to increase. But once after the increase, it is some difficulty to higher to lower, it is some difficulty. Okay, that we have to do. So before going to increase, you have to increase small amount of percentage. Okay, otherwise if you are increasing 200 GB, again if you want to compress the disk size, it won't work. Okay, that thing you make sure.
Sir, if we have a data in disk one, and so there would be no benefit creating of disk two, means we will have to increase the size of disk one only.
Sorry, I did not get your question. Can you repeat once again?
I was saying, if we have a data in disk one, so
Mhm.
there will be no use of creating a new disk. Means we will have to increase the size of existing disk.
Yeah, we can do. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so you have disk 8 GB is there. Okay, if you want to increase, you can increase it. Okay, so if you have option, you can do it. Okay, so you no need to add one more disk here. Just what my thought here is, basically during the deployment I added 1 days. After the deployment also I have added. Sometime what it will happen, only for the specific disk customer is going to add for some R&D purpose. Post that R&D or troubleshooting, you can able to dismount or disable. So did you get my point? I am still not answered your question.
I got your point, sir.
Okay. So the thing is that either you can able to increase your existing disk or you can add one more disk. So normally database related stuff will frequently 40 to 50% of the issues, disk space issues. So that is the case. You have to do, after the shrinking operation, you can increase the disk space here. Normally now on premises, what you will do, we will raise the case request with the Windows team. Hey, this my disk got full. Can you please add some more space? So instead of asking and doing the requesting here, you can able to do increase of the disk here. Okay. If you want a new disk, dedicated disk to do something, okay, you can add it. If you want to delete also, you can able to delete. So if you want to detach this one, you can detach this one. Okay, still I haven't saved. Okay, so it is available. Now I'm going to disconnect this one. So I'm going to disconnect this one. First disk I want to save here. I want to update here. Now instead of the 8 GB or 32 GB, only for the 100 GB disk is there. As I said, I did one mistake. So I want to show that mistake, how I'm going to resolve. So this is my VM. It is an up and running. It is an up and I want to try to connect this one. So this is a public IP. We have this, copy this public IP and try to do MSTSC and do some RDP. It is not going to connect. It is throw error. RDP is not enabled, blah blah blah. So it is frequent issue which we are going to face normal scenario, but it is a simple, very easy step to resolve this one. Okay, not only for the VM allocation and all. Okay, so this is what we are expected. This one, remote access, remote computer off, and remote computer is not available. Okay, check. So what we need to do for this case, simply we have to go for the networking option. Still networking option I haven't discussed, but we are having in detail discussion part. See, to connect the Windows machine, we required one port. What is that port? 3389. there is no port at all. So what we need to do, just go to the add inbound port. Simple. Okay, no need to do anything. Just 33894 and make it okay. Make it okay. So that is inbound port. Once it is done, succeeded, the same mission, I can able to connect now. Let's see. Sometimes it will take some updated thing. Okay, so we'll try to do one more time, or else you can restart one more time. Okay, so it is going to give a connectivity. Okay, still now I'm not able to connecting, right? So what we need to do, just go to this one and just restart this option, restart the server. So it is going to update. Okay, so once it is online, okay, so we will try to connect this. So taking up the IP and the connecting is the one approach. The other approach would be okay, it is successfully restarted. Okay, so what I want to do here, just take this one. Okay, so here is the native RDP and download this RDF file. Okay, so keep this one and try to double click this one. This is one kind of approach. Either the ways it will work. Okay, now it is connecting, right? So the other method which we tried, let's try to the same approach. Why? Because we just have some RDP issue, right? Just before, how it is going to resolving now. So public IP over here, just copy this public IP, Windows R, MSTSC, copy paste, press enter. Just before it is not connected, I am able to connect to the RDP now. Just provide your user ID and the password. So sorry. So these are the simple and basic related stuff. Okay, this is not a big deal, but you would have to know some sort of troubleshooting methodology, approach, and skills to make it transparent without wasting of the time. So that's what the goal. But still, we haven't started the SQL. See, this is a plain VM. This is the plain VM. This is use case one. Sorry, use case two. Just before what we explained, right? So in use case two, what is going to happen? You have VM, you haven't have the SQL application installed. Now if you have the enterprise agreement with you, you already SQL license you have, you can go and download it and install here. That tomorrow we are going to do. Okay, to extension of these colors. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions. So this is my VM, just what we deployed, right? So this is all about the VM deployment. Tomorrow, what we are going to do, again, we are going to install the SQL application, and also we are going to explore of each and every point